Hello, everyone, and welcome to another My Music. I'm so glad that I've got Cassa here with me today because she's made sure that I'm looking not so pale and white before we go on. We've just spent the last 5 minutes just rearranging our lighting, and I completely forgot that I've actually got a setting that is warmer, and so I don't look as much like Death Warmed Up as I did 5 minutes ago. So thank you for that. And of course, she looks great anyway. But there we go. There we go. Oh, what a lovely colour room as well, may I add.
Oh, thank you. It actually was like this when I first moved in, and I initially wasn't that sure about it, and now I love it. And I feel like if I ever move, I would want to paint my bedroom this colour as well. It's quite unique.
It's quite calming, soothing, I would imagine, that colour. Yeah, because it's kind of nature and everything. We will talk about bedroom wall colours, music, children, and all sorts after this little video from the Analog Trash folks. Enjoy this, and we'll be back in about 20 seconds.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
I think it glitched out at the beginning of that. Did you enjoy that, by the way?
Yeah, love it.
It was good, isn't it? We put that on at the beginning just to wake everybody up, including sometimes the guests who quite often had a difficult day.
Yeah, I'm definitely more involved now.
Yeah, there you go. You see, you're kind of into it. What's a typical day like for you, Cassa? What's that look like at the moment?
Well, there is actually no typical day. I feel like every day is often very different. Because one day I could be in the studio, another day I could just be doing an admin day, or I could be doing a gig. But yeah, I quite like that because then it keeps you on your toes. Today has been more of an admin day. So I've just been looking after our new puppy, which obviously takes up quite a lot of time. And then I went to the gym, and I've been just doing a lot of admin pre the interview.
Wow.
So
can you actually do admin at a gym? That's a good one.
No, that was a separate thing. Gym was an hour, and then I come back and doing admin. You could actually. There's like a reception area, but not my vibe. I need to be in here in my zen.
I think people need to learn to do admin whilst they're running and stuff like that. I think that would be good.
Multitask.
Yeah, multitask. Yeah, I mean, we'd see a fitter society as a whole if we all did that. You
can get people, like I see people who work from home and they have desks that have like treadmills underneath, and they walk and they do it, and I'm like,
trust me, I've tried it.
Really?
Yeah. So
I don't have the coordination for that. I don't know.
One of the other podcasts that we do is actually called Wow Ergonomics. And something that we've done as part of that is we've tried actually working at a desk with a treadmill and whatever. The thing is, it works for certain tasks and certain tasks only. What you find is that if you're standing up and you're doing that and you're trying to keep your center of balance and whatever, it really messes with your cognitive functioning. And actually what you find is that there are a lot of things where you really have to focus in where you no longer can focus in. So it doesn't really work.
That's what I thought.
It's great if you're just browsing over emails and drinking coffee. There you go. So that's what that's for. When did you start making music?
Well, I started when I was at school, but it wasn't like a conscious, I want to be a singer. It was just, I was in a relationship at the time that wasn't going very well, and I thought, I'm going to write my feelings down. And so I would take myself off to the music room, and I would sit there and try and, write my feelings down. But that is kind of where my career started, because a teacher of mine put my song into this songwriting competition that I was doing. And I didn't think it was very good, so I wasn't going to submit it, but he submitted it. And then I did end up getting to the final of this competition. And then that's kind of where everything started, because I ended up getting spotted at that final. And then that took me to my third ever gig, which was at Wembley Arena, being like a guest vocalist at this event at Wembley Arena.
Crazy, isn't it?
I know.
From a school competition. You must have loved that music teacher.
I know. I was like, wow. I mean, that's the kind of school, you know, they really like believe in you and think that, okay, if
who's the music teacher? What's the music teacher called?
His name was Dave Parsons. Shout out
Dave
from
if you're
Hurtwood House.
Well done, Dave.
Yeah, and so if he hadn't have believed in that song, then God knows where I'd be, to be honest. Because that kind of, then when I did Wembley Arena, I remember being like, do you know what? This could actually be something that I could do, and I want this feeling over and over again. I want to perform here. So that's when I then started writing my own songs, you know, and thinking actually about releasing them, and doing more gigs, and then I went to a university where I had a band and we'd do shows, and it all just kind of flowed from there, basically.
It's amazing, isn't it? And that's what teachers are really meant to do, isn't it? Inspire.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even my teacher. He was just a teacher at the school. Like
I like that.
I didn't actually do music. I did French, Spanish, and English, but I really enjoyed music. And so he saw that. So it was even more crazy.
For 1 minute, I thought you were going to say he wasn't even my teacher. He kind of just randomly came into the school, found me.
No.
And kind of, you know, suggested that I went into this competition, even though he didn't work there.
No. That would have been very bizarre.
That would have been weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, though. Well done. I think music teachers like that are fantastic. I had one of those as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I had a music teacher like that. He was always getting in trouble with the other teachers at lunchtime. He'd do this thing where he'd play obscure music very loudly, and one of his favorite things to do was play Money, and not just Money, but also Time by Pink Floyd, and it's got all of these bells going off, ding 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 ding, right? And it would make all of the other teachers come out with their class thinking it was an emergency, and line up in the hall, and he go, no, sorry, that's just a bit of music. And I thought, that's great. He was quite rebellious.
I can see how that would have annoyed the other teachers, but great for the students.
Yeah, great. But he also, I think what was really inspiring about him, and see whether this resonates as well, is that his belief was bigger than the sort of theory of music and whatever. He really was inspired by just sound as well. I found that incredibly inspiring, because I thought, I can't actually play an instrument, so therefore I can't.
No, that actually was exactly the same as me. I wasn't like technically, you know, there was a lot of people who'd done grades their whole life, would grade 8 by the time they were 6 or whatever. Whereas like I hadn't done that. I can't read music. And yet I kind of felt what I was writing down. It was more to do with the lyrics and like the melody I was singing. And I thought, oh, well, you know, you can't be a singer if you've not, you know, studied the theory of music. Whereas actually for me, it was more about the songwriting. And because I came from an English, like I studied English at A level, I think that's what I was really into, poetry and lyrics, and that's what kind of led me into songwriting rather than the actual theory of what I was writing down. It was the lyricism and the relatableness of what I was writing. Not that I knew it was relatable at the time. I was just writing it for myself. But turns out it has been quite relatable for quite a lot of people.
So you one of these musicians that kind of reverse engineered everything in terms of your ability with music, so that you kind of started with the feeling.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
you did the you did the words, etc. You had something to say, so you needed to get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And as you progress on, you now want to know more about music theory itself, or how to play and how to produce. And
yeah, exactly. That's all kind of come with it, the whole world of it that I didn't even understand. But yeah, it all just started with me being a bit upset in this relationship I was in, and needing an outlet for that. So that's where it started. But yeah, now I love, you know, finding especially with the people I sometimes co-write with, finding the chord progressions that really match the vibe of what I'm saying. And I don't produce so much, but I'm always there when it's going on, like putting in my opinion on what I want. And I've definitely found my sound, and yeah, it's been a real journey, but I'm very happy with where I'm at now.
I love that. What other parts of life have come in and influenced your music writing?
Well, it's been a really, really interesting one, because obviously that was when I was at school, all of this bad relationship. But I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was like, this is a good relationship, but it doesn't feel good because I'm not happy. So it was kind of this weird dichotomy, I guess, of what I was feeling versus that. But then I've been through breakups and then being single, and then finally now I'm at a point where I'm actually in a happy relationship. And so my music has changed from, what was it, like 4 years of writing sassy breakup songs about how like I hate boys, and actually now I'm like, no, we don't. There are some nice ones out there, and we just need to prioritize ourselves and, you know, feel good about yourself, and then someone will come along and treat you the way you deserve to be treated. So it's been a real coming of age story, I think.
Yeah. Now I've got to ask you, because it's something that does dwell on the minds, I think, sometimes of songwriters that have gone through that. And let's face it, a lot of songwriters go through that. They a lot of early material is about breakup and heartache or misery, and
which is
you know.
easier to write.
Right? Okay. Was there a point when like life turned around and you found that, you know, the person of your dreams, and things started to go the right way, where you worried about
my career?
Is this
I built this fan base of people who were really into the sassy breakup songs, and I was like, oh no, I wonder how they're going to feel about me transitioning into being happy. And I didn't want to, you know, suddenly change that. So what I actually did was I kept it secret for about a year, because I'd written all these songs about my ex-boyfriend and people in between, and I was like, they're really good songs, I can't just not release them because I'm happy. But I didn't want people thinking that these songs were about my current boyfriend, because I was like, I want everyone to love him and know that he's a really nice person. So I was like with him, but I was then releasing these sassy breakup songs, and no one knew that I was with him. Like,
how did he feel about that?
Well, he didn't really have a choice, to be honest. I was like, this is what's happening. And I remember he came to watch me at the O2 Arena. I was supporting JLS at the time, and that was like our second date. It was literally the craziest second date ever. But there I was on stage being like, this is a song about dating at the moment, and how awful the dating scene in London is. He's like, sorry, what's going on there? I said, your time will come. But then, and then even at my first ever headline show after that, he was there, and he actually brought the piano onto stage for me, but no one knew who he was.
That's great.
He was just like the stage guy. So then fast forward to my next headline show, and obviously I've actually written and released songs about him. And then when I mentioned him, all the crowd and all my fans were like, woo, and then they love him now. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I did it that way, because now they like him, and it's been a real journey. But if I'd have just kind of switched and gone, here I am, I'm happy now, by the way, I feel like it might have been a bit sudden and jarring for everyone.
It's funny that you have to do that in a way, though, isn't it?
Well, no one told me to do that. I just kind of felt like I wanted to do that, because I thought if I was following someone who I was
it's very smart. It's very smart of you to do that, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always it was kind of got to a point there where I always want to be true to myself, like in my music and what I'm doing. So it did start to feel a bit disingenuous, and I was like, I need to tell everyone that I am happy. So then I got him involved, and from then on he's been really involved. So I said, if we break up now, this is gonna be really awkward, because everyone's really invested in you, so you better be nice. But he
what a way to keep someone in your life.
I know,
you can't break up with me now, because look, everybody loves you.
Yeah, but I said to him, I said, do you think I'll ever write like an unhappy song about you? And he was like, no. And was just so sure about that. And I was like, wow, okay. But the good thing is I've still got a lot of, you know, songs from the past that I have written and have still got to release. I basically released all those ones, and then I was like, I need to release a happy song because I am happy. So I'm in my happy era now, but I will be eventually going back to, you know, releasing those songs and remembering where I was at that time, because I think, you know.
But you don't know, do you? Your thing is, and I don't wish anything unhappy to ever happen to you ever again. All right. But you don't know what life's going to bring up, do you? And that's the thing. So, and actually, you see these kind of cycles with songwriters, because
the arcs,
because things may come from a point of pain in the first place. That's quite often the catalyst for getting people to be creative, etc.
Yeah.
They may go through periods of great joy or happiness and whatever in their life, but it may even be stuff like, I mean, I've spoken to some more heritage acts recently, and they, a lot of, even if they're in a good place relationship wise or whatever, they may start talking about things from a point of view of being quite retrospective or introspective about things that have changed. Like
and
one,
just like life as well. As I said,
Mm.
I'm in my relationship happier at the moment, but it has, being happy, I suppose, has made me then, I think I used to always focus on that relationship and how I was feeling, whether I was happy or not. And that used to be my main focus. Whereas now that I am, and that's just kind of, you know, a given, obviously I'm still, you know, putting my all into that relationship, but it's made me think about life more. And I've actually now been able to analyze other parts of my life and what else is going on. And that's been a new topic of songwriting that I've never, you know, not about relationships, just about general day-to-day issues or other things. And so, yeah, it's made me less introspective, I think, in terms of my relationship, more able to write about other things that previously I wasn't bothered with.
And do you know what the other thing is that comes along in life? A great moments and events, and of course one of those is about to come up, which is the wonderful Christmas.
Well, yes, and I've got my first ever Christmas song.
And you've got, yeah, you see what I did there? I segued into that very nicely. Yeah. Were you inspired in terms of doing this by any particular Christmas songs from the past? Do you feel that is there a great Christmas song?
Well, this one actually wasn't inspired by any Christmas songs. I do have my classic Christmas songs. I love a bit of Mariah. My brother and I's Christmas song is Elton John's Step Into Christmas. I think that's an absolute banger. Yeah. That's our just like childhood one. But this song is actually more of a sort of wholesome ballad, because I kind of was listening to all these Christmas songs and I was like, there's so many really upbeat, like, whoa, Christmas, like that sort of vibe. And then there's your sad Christmas songs about, you know, how you're missing your ex-boyfriend or, you know, stuff like that. And I kind of was like, I feel like
it was Christmas Eve, babe.
Yeah. But there's not that many just happy, wholesome, sweet Christmas songs to kind of add to your playlist. And as you're sitting down by the fire with a hot cup of mulled wine, that's the vibe I wanted. So that is the vibe of my song. It's hopefully timeless, can listen to it any time of the day, and it will just make you feel really happy and warm and fuzzy, is kind of the vibe.
If we could get anyone in to sing the song with you as a duet, who would that be?
What, like a different celebrity? Oh, that is a tough one. I think it would have to be Ed Sheeran. I feel like get Ed Sheeran on the
really?
that would be the coolest thing ever. Because we could do some harmonies. Also, the song's called First Christmas Together, so I feel like a male artist would be nice for the whole narrative if it's our first Christmas together.
Yeah.
He can be pretend boyfriend for the song.
And he likes his Christmas songs.
And he does like a Christmas song. And I just think his voice can lend itself to any genre. And obviously he's you know, thinking out loud, that wedding song, that's kind of the vibe of this song. So
wow. Ed, if you're watching, you know,
I know
you're not doing anything this Christmas, are you? Well, there you go. And of course he likes Elton John as well, so there's that tie-in, you know.
Yeah, maybe get Elton in as well.
That would be dream. Have Elton on the tambourine in the background.
Yeah. But it's because earlier this year I released a song called Reset Me, which was my first proper happy song. And that was, I think I'd done a lot of, because I was doing arena shows on support tours. I was like, I need to do big power ballads with loads of production. And, you know, I need to be able to reach the people at the very back of the O2. Whereas then, now that I was in my, as I said before, my happy era, I felt like I wanted to strip it back and just have it being piano and vocal or guitar and vocal, so you could really actually hear my voice. Because sometimes I feel like with the big tracks, it gets lost sometimes because there's so much else going on. And I just wanted to strip it completely back to basics for this year. And that's what I'm ending the year with this Christmas song. It's just me and an instrument. There's no Well, there are bells, but there's no bells and whistles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you like the idea of in future artists doing a real mix of venues like that? I mean, I liked the way that you talked about Ed Sheeran, but the way that Ed Sheeran with recent tours did the big stadiums and then went, because some of his material was more stripped back and more raw and, you know, whatever, then, you know, went to the smaller venues as well, which were more intimate.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and that's something I will definitely want to do. Like I loved performing at the arenas, and it was like the coolest thing ever, but I do think there's nothing like when I did my show at the O'Meara and the Grace, like they're obviously much smaller, and being able to see everyone and really connect with everyone is just so special. And I even think I want to do next year like an actual acoustic tour where it is just you.
Do you know where it's one of my favorite venues for Christmas?
Oh yeah, tell me.
For that kind of vibe is Union Chapel, London.
Do you know I was literally looking at that the other day? Yeah,
isn't it totally right?
That would 1,000,000% be the vibe. And I think that there's nothing, you know, obviously you could argue, oh, you know, you want to go bigger and go bigger. But I actually think you also need to think about your fan experience at a show. And I would always actually prefer to go to something more intimate where you're not a million miles away from the artist. And you can actually feel, especially if it is a song like Reset Me and the Christmas one, which it feels wholesome and small, then that would also, I mean, just a mixture, as you say, is good.
I went to see Steve Hogarth, who's an amazing vocalist. If you've never heard Steve Hogarth sing, you need to check Steve Hogarth out. Sing at the Union Chapel, and it was towards Christmas time, and he literally just filled the place with candles everywhere, and it's it just works.
Yeah,
just works.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. And also, you know, a lot of my other songs, I have got a lot of other slower songs, even about breakups and stuff. And I think, as I said, my songs can kind of now, wherever you are in your like relationship journey, whether you're single, very happy, not happy, I've actually got a song for every scenario because I've been through it. So I feel like it's almost like the ultimate like therapy night, because you can just see where you're at, see where you want to be, what songs you relate to, and you can really get involved and sing those songs. But it's not like I've planned that to happen. It just has happened throughout the years of my life.
I love that. You almost make it sound like you're the Cassa Jackson sort of jukebox machine, but it's not. It's much more emotional than that. But it makes it sound like people can come up to you, put a dime in, and go, I'd like a slow. I have
in my Spotify bio to say, I say, oh, if you are not over your ex, listen to this song. If you are single, listen to this song, so that people can kind of, when they first see me, they can think, okay, I will relate to that, because that's how I did it on support tours. To get, obviously, those people haven't come to see you. I needed to be able to relate to them very quickly. And so I would say what the song was about, and hopefully you can relate. And that actually worked really well, because people love to relate to something. They want to be able to, you know, empathize with what you're saying. And so I think that's something that's really worked for me.
Yeah. I could see you doing a podcast at some point as well.
Do you know, this is also what I wanted to do. I love talking, and I actually will never shut up. So then I was like, oh, I really want to do that. But then it was kind of like, would it just be me? What would I do? But I do think I really want to do that. And I was going to do it this year, but then I just carried on writing. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We should talk about that afterwards, because
1,000,000%. We should.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do I help produce 9 different podcasts at the moment. I think podcasts are the way forward for a lot of artists. I think it's a good way to stay close to your fans and build the fan base outside of the music as well, because I can think
people listen to you for like relationship advice. Because one thing I do find, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I think it's great for connecting with people, but it's also can feel a bit like, you know, you've got to show up every day, and sometimes it's not that real, because you just can't be when it's just like an Instagram story that you've taken. Whereas on a podcast, and it's like me on stage, when I'm actually on stage chatting to people, you could argue that would be when you're being the least authentic, because you're performing. But I find that's when I can connect to people most, because I'm just standing there and I'm chatting, and it's just what I'm like, which is, I also feel like that on a podcast, because it's just like a conversation. So yeah, definitely something that I want to do.
I like the idea. I like the angle as well, that it could be about relationships in some
Yeah.
way. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. Well,
Could
people maybe
even have relationship experts on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I would not that I'm any sort of expert in any way, but I've gone through a lot, and I feel like when my friends always come to me for relationship advice because as I said, I've been through it all. So whatever they can ask, because I'm only young still, but I just feel like because I was in a long-term relationship at a young age that broke me, I then have learnt from that, and then now I kind of am like, this is what to do. You'll be fine, and I feel like I'm quite a good advert for. You will get over it.
I've got to ask you now. You've got the partner of your dreams, etc.
Yeah.
And this happens right when you find the right one and whatever. Do you end up watching quite a lot of relationship shows now? And do you
Relationship shows meaning
like Maths is on at the moment, or anything like that? You know, Married at First Sight, or
I watched like Made in Chelsea. Is that the same thing?
Made in Chelsea, yeah, anything like that. And do you kind of like almost end up giving advice to the people on the screen? I mean,
yeah. What's interesting is I see all of it and I see all the drama, and I'm like, God, that was me, and I would have been that person crying on screen probably. And now
and you shout at the screen and go,
yeah, I'm like,
just dump him,
it's not worth it. Yeah.
I love
but
it.
it is interesting, and what I think is one of the main like takeaways that I always want to say to young girls messaging, because like people message me with relationship advice anyway, and they tell me their situation because they've related to a song of mine, and I'm like, you can't see it when you're in it. If you're too deep in it, and you like, no one can tell you to leave. And like, it took me so long. You just have to prioritize yourself, and I think that's one of the main things for me, is that I wasn't prioritizing myself. And as soon as I began to remember my own self-worth, I was like, don't want this, absolutely not. And then you attract what you, I don't know, what you give out, what you feel about yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's next for Cassa Jackson beyond the Christmas single, and the podcast, which will the Christmas single, which will be #1 this year?
Oh gosh, well, the thing is, it can be then next year as well. That's why I wanted to write a Christmas song. So I was like,
it's evergreen.
It's evergreen.
Well, it's not literally evergreen because that was Will Young, you know.
Yeah.
But
then it will be second Christmas together. It will be like, it will go on the numbers. Although what's crazy about the Christmas song is I obviously wrote it just about me being happy, but I've started teasing it online, and I've already had people go, oh my gosh, this is going to be my first Christmas. We've just had a baby girl, and it's going to be our first Christmas together. And I'm like, whoa, that's a whole nother meaning to the song that I obviously don't have a child. That is not what I meant.
Great marketing idea for you. You can tell I work in that arena. Right. So why don't you get 24 people to listen to the song, right, and talk about what that song means to them, their experience of their relationship and whatever, and then you could do an advent calendar of your song online.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. I love the advent calendar idea.
Yeah, with a different door opening every day, with someone coming out and saying,
this is what this means to me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
With the song playing in the background. How about that?
Oh my God, such a good idea. Everyone come forward. Well, it comes out on the 22nd of November as well. So people will have had time to listen to the whole song before that.
Right, when it comes out, folks, 22nd of November, make sure you've pre-saved, downloaded it, put it in your playlist, add it to your Christmas favorites. It goes next to Slade, next to Elton John. It's in there. And then if it means something to you, if it really resonates, whatever, get in touch with Cassa, let her know.
Yeah, DM me
and say I'm up for it. I'll send you a little video, me and my loved one talking about what it means to us. And
goosebumps. The thing is, that's the thing. I actually love it when people message me and tell me what they've taken away from the song and when they're listening to it, and it makes me so happy, because obviously I have just written these songs about my own life. I'm not trying to do it in like, oh, what will be relatable, what do you think people will like? It's just born out of my own experience. So the fact that people then do relate, and then they they message me and say, oh, you know, my partner and I love this, or this has got me through XYZ. There's no better feeling than that.
And I think it's really important for artists, especially these days, to try and involve their fan base, involve people in their social media as well, because, you know, I think that's actually more interesting for other fans as well.
Yeah, and that's something I've actually never done really, and I message people and people comment and stuff. But yeah, that's definitely something that I should do. And I have such a great fan base that everyone's so lovely, and yeah, I'd love to showcase.
You'll get so many videos sent to you now of this is why this is our Christmas song. We want to be on the advent calendar.
Yeah,
see, it's almost gamification as well, which is great. People love a bit of
exactly. I've already got the number one person who, as I said, it's their first Christmas with their new baby girl. So you can be on first.
Absolutely. And actually, then Christmas Day, the door opens and it's you and your man.
Yeah.
With your message.
Yeah,
It might sound cheesy, folks, but you know you want it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm going full ham into the wholesome vibes. I'm here for it. Christmas is that you can afford to be a bit soppy at Christmas.
I'm just wondering now, actually, is there a supplier out there? And I might have to tag a few people in that do Christmas jumpers, who might do a Cassa Jackson Christmas jumper. That would be nice.
First Christmas together.
Yes.
One of them can say together and one of them can say first Christmas.
Yes.
I know. I think I love Christmas as well. Like I'm love a bit of wholesome activities, and me and my boyfriend are already planning all the fun Christmas activities that we can do, like gingerbread house making, and I don't know what else can we do, like going to Winter Wonderland. Oh, actually, after that time at the O2, you know, when I said it was our second day, our next date was at Winter Wonderland, and I'd never been. And I said to him, I really want to go. I know it's one of those things that's really overpriced and really, like, you know, just so Christmassy, but I want to go. And now we're going to go again this year because it's
Christmas markets. That's another thing.
Markets. Yeah, we're actually going to a hotel that I have been invited to go and stay at in Oxford, and that's the weekend the Christmas market's open. So we're going to go there and have a really cute Christmassy weekend.
I love a Christmas
and I can post about all of that as well.
I think you have to do that. We're going to see Mrs. Doubtfire in London.
Oh, are you? Nice.
Yeah. On New Year's Day. There you go.
There we go.
If you're in London on New Year's Day,
you'll be there.
I'll be there, but I won't be speaking to you. I'll be going to Mrs. Doubtfire.
Do you live in London?
No, I live in the southwest. Where are you based?
London.
You're based in London.
Yeah, in Clapham.
Well,
it's nice.
We'd love to. Do you like it when you tour the UK? Have you got a favourite part of the UK? Is there anywhere that you particularly like? We don't get enough. I'm saying this because we don't get enough live music down in our part of the world.
Oh, do you not? Okay.
No. So I'm between Bristol and Exeter, and we do get things in Bristol. We rarely get stuff in Exeter. I just think we could do with another venue opening up down here.
That's the thing. I feel like a lot of it is, which is obviously why I moved to London. Everything is quite London based, and there's so much going on in London. But I have done tours. Yeah, I did. Well, it wasn't I did Bristol at the O2 Academy there, but then I also did. There wasn't an arena in Bristol. It would have been Cardiff that was the closest one, the Motor Point. But that's probably where you would have to go in order to go to like the big acts.
Yeah. They've recently reopened, obviously because of the name change and everything after the statue came down and whatever. They've recently reopened what's now the Bristol Beacon. Oh
yes, well I actually went to university in Bristol.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I remember, all of that. That was before the statue and everything, but that was my first ever radio show was in Bristol on BBC Radio Bristol because I was at university there.
Wow.
So I love Bristol, and I definitely think that would be a venue, a place that I would like going back if I was to do my own tour, because as I said, that's kind of where I started my career. I was gigging around Bristol when I was at uni. We did like the Battle of the Bands at the Fleece.
Yeah. I think the Bristol Beacon's got a sort of a smaller acousticy stage type thing called Limelight.
Oh,
That
okay.
might be good if you do like an acousticy type
Yeah.
session. There you go.
I'll check that out because, as I said, I'm thinking about where I would go if I was doing a tour, like 6 or so cities, and obviously London would be there, but I would want to go a bit more remote in terms of like so that people don't have to just travel to London, because I feel like that's kind of all I've done at the moment. Because I live in London, I'm like, everyone come to London, but
Everyone come this
go to,
way.
Brighton or Cardiff or Nottingham, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to see you all over the UK.
Yeah.
There we go.
But you'll
Look
have
at
to
that.
host a gig.
Time has just gone like that. I could talk to you for ages.
I know, well, this is my issue. You ask a question, then I go off on another tangent. And I need to be reminded. This was the question. I'm like a politician. I can't stay on.
No, but do you know what? This is my favorite kind of conversation with people. And so often, actually, when I have people on, sometimes beforehand they go, "Oh, can you send me a set of questions? What are you going to ask me? What we're going to talk about?" And I just think, no, I'd far rather it's a conversation rather than an interview, because interviews for me, especially with musicians, too often when you listen back to them, they're just so formulaic, or you just know what's going to come next in that.
It's often the same questions as well, as I feel like I've said so many new things today, which has been really fun. There's no yeah.
See, I didn't ask you what your favorite biscuit is. Or
That's a shame though. I like that one.
Do you like that one? Okay, go on then. Tell us, what's your favorite biscuit?
Well, it's actually changed now because unfortunately I'm now gluten-free. So
wow.
a lot of nice biscuits I can't have. So it used to be like, love a chocolate digestive, love a rich tea. Whereas now there's only one specific brand of gluten-free biscuit, which is even vaguely nice. So I have to stick with that.
There you go. Do you know, it's one of those things I can tell everybody out there, if you're just looking for content for social media, that will go and do really, really well. If you pick the right time of day and you mention tea and coffee with it as well, pick your favorite biscuit is always a good poll to do. Always.
That's a good idea.
Because just everybody has an opinion. Simple as that. Or dunk or don't dunk. That's always a good one too.
Definitely don't.
Have a great rest of the year. Hope the Christmas single goes very well for you. We will continue to push it and plug it on here as well.
Yay.
And
it's the first ever Christmas song, so new thing for me, but I'm really excited about it.
A Christmas album will be winging its way around the universe in maybe by the end of 2025.
Yeah, next year I'll be Michael Bublé. You wait.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that or Kelly Clarkson, because she had one, didn't she? She had a Christmas album and then a Christmas show, and then that led to TV.
I changed my Ed Sheeran answer. It should have been either Kelly Clarkson or Michael Bublé. What was I thinking? Obviously, Michael Bublé would be the Christmas man to get on it, wouldn't it?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Yeah, you definitely need that, don't you?
Although what's crazy, I just realized the other day, is you can now get AI to put any artist singing your song.
Oh, isn't it crazy? Have you done it? Have you done that to yourself?
Yes. So I did it the other day.
Wow.
And at the moment, you can only do like 5 or 6 artists. There's like Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Billie Eilish, and Taylor Swift, and Adele. So they're, I think, the ones you can do. So I tried it with all of them, and it was weird. It was so odd because it actually sounds really realistic. Like the Rihanna
there is actually software. There is actually software where you can emulate yourself as well.
Oh, as in being right. No, I didn't do that. I just put my song in, and then it made like Justin Bieber sing it.
That's so funny.
I know.
That is so funny.
But you can only get like 15 seconds free. I'm not going to buy this app, but it was just interesting to see what it looked like.
Yeah. This is going to be a very random last kind of question. What's your favorite Instagram reel at the moment? What stopped you on scroll at the moment? Because I'll tell you what, it's just because I don't know why this came up in my mind, but it's because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Was a clip from Pharrell Williams in his Radio 1 interview. Have you seen that one yet?
I haven't seen that clip, no.
Oh, it's so funny. It is so funny because basically he says when he does his falsetto, he says, "I've only ever said this once, but I sound like Mickey Mouse. And then they all listen back to it. They do a clip from Beautiful and whatever, and his falsetto comes in,
Oh, no.
and everyone in the studios go, they can't unhear it now. And he
Yeah,
does.
that's
He
like glass
sounds like
shattered.
Mickey Mouse.
Oh wow, I need to look at that one. Okay. That's the thing. There are some that's why I have a love-hate relationship with social media, because there's some really funny things on there and there's some great things, but then there's also a side to it that's like just makes you feel a bit lesser in your own life. So you've got to really train your algorithm to only show you things that are gonna make you feel good. And that's what I also want to do with my own social media, because I'm like, I don't want people to look through my page and be like, ugh, hate my life. I want people to feel uplifted and happy. Do you know what I mean? Which is quite a difficult thing with social media, but that's something I've noticed scrolling through my own.
You don't want it to sound like toxic positivity, that you're
No,
always happy or always on,
Yeah,
because
so it's a real hard one, because you want you want to get that balance right and be authentic, but then you also don't want to be coming on being like, God, I've had the worst day ever, and then that will also like, do you know what I mean?
do you know what I think works best then?
Yeah.
I think actually, if you're having a really bad day, I think the best thing you can do
Write a
is
song. That's what I do.
actually go into the studio and write a song,
Yeah.
right, and take it out that way, and then take yourself off social actually for a day or two, and
Yeah.
actually come back and say, I just needed to take myself off because stuff was happening. And then I think actually people respect that, and that's actually showing up and being authentic, but you're not actually sharing what it
I
is.
never tend to do that. I just then write a song about it, and then in hindsight say, this is about a time when this happened. Which I then think is more easily, because I've then had time to formulate my thoughts and think, what am I actually thinking? What am I trying to say? And there's always hopefully a nice like conclusion at the end of the song that is a bit more uplifting. Do you know what I mean? So
Love that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great fun.
It's been brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Cassa Jackson. The Christmas single is out. What day was it?
November the 22nd.
Go and fill your stocking, folks. You know, this is the time of year where we have to support all of those poor artists out there that need your money. So
just share my song. That's enough.
If you feel like you can give, and you should at this time of year, then please do donate. Cassa Jackson, the Christmas song. And we'll be back with more My Music very soon. Thank you so much for joining in today. If you've enjoyed this, do all of the sharey stuff, press the buttons that, you know, make the whole world sing, and really go and enjoy
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas already to some of you. Some people out there will have already started. If you haven't enjoyed today's episode, as usual, I've just wasted 42 minutes and 42 seconds of your time, and we're very sorry about that, but you can get it back. Remember, all you need to do is go and fill in the form at your local post office, which is underneath the book in the back of the post office, where there's a little red disc on the top. Press that. A green button will come out. Press that again. And then a pen will appear from behind you somewhere. Just write on that, send it off to Botswana, and you will get your time back, apparently.
Okay, hopefully no one will want to do that anyway.
Maybe. You never know. Until next time, bye for now.